where we talk about our history, our heritage, and our culture.
I'm Amari.
I'm Charisma. Hey, AJ.
Hey, what's up? What's up? How you doing?
I'm doing well. Can't complain. So, one of the things I wanted
Excellent.
to jump right into today is the
Of
fact
course.
that, with this last year and the pandemic, there has been even more of a surge of people needing help. So many people
Hmm.
have lost their jobs, more people than I think ever in American history. Um, and people are being evicted at ridiculously high rates and people are hungry, so there's been this conversation about what we can do to really give back and to come together as a community.
Definitely. And we're joined today by Dr. Timothy Lucky, who'll be talking about some of the things that he and his church have been up to for the past year, more than the past year, but specifically in the past year, they've had their hands quite full. So, Dr. Lucky, thank you for joining us again.
Yes, welcome back.
Hi, how are you today?
Good, good,
Great.
good.
Glad to be here,
So, what
guys.
have it's good to have you here. What have you been up to for the past year? I know there's been a lot of need in the community, in the country, in the world. What role have you been playing in all of that?
Well, so our church is really taking an interest in the actual the people that live around our church, and not a lot of people who live around our church go to our church, attend our church. But based on the fact that there's so much food insufficiency and these people are just hungry during the pandemic, a big burden of ours was to really reach out to the community to feed people. I mean, America's this great nation that has all this wealth and people are hungry. So that was an issue for me as a pastor. How do we now as a church kind of help in ways that people need help? One of the things that the Bible shows us when Jesus came to earth is that whenever he met somebody, one of the first things he did was he took care of their physical need and then he addressed their spiritual need. And we've taken it upon ourselves to address people's physical needs. And food insufficiency is one of these things that just screams right out at us. And initially, it started on campus when I was teaching. Since I'm adjunct professor at Villanova. I know that there are students on campus who are hungry. So I talked to my
Yeah,
students in different classes, and I said, "What can you do about that? There shouldn't be anyone who is sitting right next to you that doesn't know how they're going to eat later on." And come to find out, a couple of graduate students came to me later and said, "I've had people in my class who said one of the things that I'm struggling with is getting enough to eat every week." So, and even on campus at an institution like Villanova University, it's still a challenge for people to eat. So we just figured we turn that right to our community, and that's the very least we can do is just actually
yeah.
feed people.
One of the things that I've seen recently, especially in Philadelphia, a lot more of have been community refrigerators and places where people can come and just pick up food whenever they need to, which has been amazing. But what have you and your church been doing specifically to help bridge the gap in terms of people that need food?
So every third Sunday, what we do is we actually go out and we buy non-perishable groceries. And every third
Nice.
Sunday, we buy it and we actually distribute it every third Sunday. And we make it so that all you have to do is drive up in your car, and we set up cones and everything. So you drive up into you just open your door, unlock your window, and we put it in. And you don't have to get out your car. You don't have to. All you have to do is stop long enough for us to put the food in your car, and then you just drive on out.
That's a,
So that's one of the things that we've done at our local church, but we've also gone to other food giveaways to be a part of actually distributing the food. So we went over to another food giveaway, Ahari, I think it's called. And what they were doing, it was leading up to Christmas. They gave out perishable like milk, eggs, cheese, and and a bunch of perishable as well. And we gave out a lot of food with them. So we're trying to make sure that we're addressing this issue of people being hungry. That's the thing that kind of just is heavy on my heart about people being hungry in this great nation.
Now, that's certainly something that has been the case for a very long time. This is work that you said you've been doing for over the past year, probably about a year and a half now. How have you seen things change since the pandemic started?
It's gotten worse. So we were actually food in our local church to our church members. And then we've been doing this for years. That's just something that we do. We try to make sure that our church members are taken care of and not hungry. Um, I grew up in the projects. I'm from New Haven, Connecticut, so I know about being hungry. I know about not having heat. So that's something that's close to my heart that I don't want to see other people go through. So since we were doing this locally with our church members, when the pandemic hit, we said we have to make sure that we stretch out past our borders, which is our church members. So we reached out to the community. And as we started doing this, people actually started coming. People walk up to us to get the groceries that we have for them. And that's exactly what we're there for. Some people don't have a car, so they ride in the car. They'll say, there are two families in this car. Can you give us two baskets? I said, absolutely. We want to make sure that you get this. And we normally give 50 boxes of groceries away, but for Christmas and New Year's, we raised it to 100 so we can try to feed more people.
Wow.
But
Have
like you
you
said,
been
the pandemic has. I'm sorry.
No, please continue.
So the pandemic kind of made things worse for everyone, and what we saw was that as people learned that we were doing this every third Sunday, they just started coming. They just started showing up, and that's what we do now. We just every third Sunday we're there in the parking lot, rain, sleet, or snow. One Sunday it was very icy out, but we tried to figure out a way to get the people in there. But we want to make sure that the people have access to food that they may not know how to do. And even like I said, people walk up and get their groceries as well. So
It's absolutely a necessity to just be able to eat. It's a human right. But one of the other things I was going to ask you, and I hope this doesn't sound silly, but have you had any additional dialogue with the people that you've been able to reach out to and help while they're going through this crisis as far as the food shortages go?
so we haven't had a whole lot of dialogue other than, well, some people actually, so I'm normally down at the beginning of the parking lot and I wave
Okay.
people in. That's kind of like the role I've taken.
Mm.
And people come up and say, well,
Mhm.
what does it cost? Who can do this? What do I have to do to be able to get some food? And what I tell them is all you have to do is drive up into this parking lot and open your window or your door. That's all you have to do, and you can get this food. They said, but I have somebody, and I said, and sometimes I tell them, I said, do you have someone that can't get here that might need some? If you do, tell them that you need another box as well. And the
Okay.
dialogue that I have with them is so short because I'm
Mm.
trying to get as many people into the parking lot to get access to this food. But when they get up there, they end up talking to people and they tell them, say, look, come back, because my son Caleb, he's a big part of this. He's really into giving this food out, and he talks to people. He tells them come back every third Sunday. I got that from him, telling them when to come back. But so the community appreciates it. But like I said, I don't have much interaction with them other than telling them to just drive up and go and get the food.
Well, Dr.
We
Lucky,
have
it
gotten
sounds
a
like you're
couple
doing
of
some really,
letters and notes.
of course.
That's
I mean, the
amazing.
impact
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
is going to be out. The impact is going to be, I'm sure, humongous in the lives of these people, but also in the lives of your church members and your church as an institution. Thank you so much for the work that you're doing, and thank you for joining us here today.
Yes, thank you so
Absolutely.
much. One of the
Glad
things
I could
that
be
I
here. It's
think
good seeing you guys again.
You as well.
you too. One of the things that Dr. Lucky said that really stood out to me is that even, students at a university like Villanova are being impacted by the pandemic in terms of not even having enough food to eat. I mean,
Oh yeah.
it just goes to show you the huge impact that this has had on everybody, and nobody everybody's being impacted.
Yep. Yeah. Well, we've got a lot to cover this season. This is, certainly one for the history books. But thank you for joining us for another episode of 28 Days and Beyond.
About our heritage and our future. We'll see you next week.
Peace.